Hello, beautiful people. It is Jeanette the Oracle. Happy Thursday. I hope you are doing well. So, schedule is a little bit more solid and stable now. So, I am actually planning to get back to doing Oracle Talks on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which would be, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So fingers crossed that can maintain, but it actually should be able to maintain at least for the next few months without any heads up, any like issues. But of course, if there are, I will make an announcement on my IG. So if you're not actually following me on IG, follow me at Anderson Alchemy. That's where you find me through all the social portals. Okay. Anyway, as you come in, please say hello. Let us know where you are joining from, what you might be sipping on, etc. I have some Earl Grey tea right now, and it is yummy. Quick announcements to get out the way before we jump in. First is enrollment is currently open for the Lightworker Incubator. This is for the summer cohort. As you may or may not know, the Lightworker Incubator is a 6-month program, so it only is available twice per year. So we have the winter cohort, which is the one that begins in January, and then we have the summer cohort, which is the one that begins in July. So right now we're currently in enrollment. Enrollment is open through June 19th. That's the last day because it ends right before we hit the summer solstice. So you can apply for the program, of course, learn more on the website, andersonalchemy.com. Info is also in the description below. You can check it out there, submit your application, and we will jump on a call and talk through any questions that you may have, and also just connect as well, because we'll be spending 6 months together. So it'll be good to have a conversation and be in conversation in that regard. So yeah, it's really lovely. We are right now finishing the last, I think we have like one more session left for the winter cohort. So, it's been really lovely with them. And it's been so nice to kind of like be back in the groove with that. So yeah, if you are feeling called, if it's been, on your heart, your mind, and your spirit, if your ancestors, your beneficial ancestors are like, this is something that you need to be in, that it'll really help you, please do listen. Please do, take that leap of faith and join in. Let your heart, let your spirit, let your mind be elevated, and be a part of this container that safely supports the acceleration of your ascension process. Okay. It is something that I've built out of some of the best tools, techniques, and experiences that I've had for over 25 years, that has been curated into this fairly structured, supportive, and also practical program. So if you are looking for something that is, just beyond the basics of what you already know and learn, and you want to go deeper, you want to level up in a variety of ways, you want to deepen things, and you want to have more tools at your disposal to be more embodied in your spiritual life, in your personal power, being able to manifest easier, more quickly, things like that. This is definitely for you. So come through, and I look forward to chatting with you. If you do, go ahead and apply. What else? Also, the new schedule is out for the Covenant membership. So you'll actually be able to see what is on the docket for this month in terms of the events on the community tab of my channel. So if you go there, I recently posted what's coming up. So you'll see the new sermon. We have affirmation audio this month, as well as a live astrology workshop that I'm going to be doing. And of course, you can join and become a member of Covenant at any time. It is a monthly membership, so you can join at any time. And you do always have access to previous recordings. We have a repository. So, even if you can't make something live or what have you, or if you come in, at a later time, you actually can still go back and access that. So definitely check that out. The live astrology workshop that I'm going to be doing is titled Turning the Wheel of Karma. And we're going to be looking at your natal chart. So you'll want to make sure that you have that. I'll give more instructions the closer we get to it within the community space, but I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, so check that out and become a member if you would like. Um, all right, so I think that's it for Covenant and then for Lightworker Incubator. And I don't think there is anything else in terms of announcements. So that's it. Now for today, I was checking with Spirit about, what the topic was going to be, and what I was getting very clearly was sitting in this space of building a new future and exploring that. So I don't know if that's going to be all contained in this message today, or if this is something that we will embody and sit with and talk through over the next coming weeks. I do actually like that idea of like just kind of grounding in, what this may mean in this first way, and then get into a little bit more gritty details over the coming weeks. So we'll see if that actually can work, right? Mm, okay. Um, Yeah, so let's go ahead and tap in first. We'll start with a short meditation to center in, make sure we're all on the same page with things, and then we will tap into some guidance. All right. So sitting up nice and tall, close your eyes, with your hands in your lap, palms up, and begin to deepen your breathing in such a way that your inhale and exhale is even in length, even in intensity as well. Intentional breathing. And as you do this, take the opportunity to say within yourself, to intend that you will release any thoughts or concerns or worries about the past, about the present, and even the future. And instead, you will focus on bringing all of your energy, thoughts, emotions, will, passion back to yourself. So, any places where you've projected that energy, where you may be divided unto yourself, release that compulsion now and come back to self. Make yourself, your experience of yourself, whole again. And I say experience because you are always whole. And call in your higher self, your spirit, your Ori, your core star essence, whatever languaging uh, is resonant and comfortable for you. And ask it to bring all of you into perfect energetic coherence with you: body, emotions, will, heart, mind, all of your soul, all of your energy. Continuing to breathe. And we pray to Source, asking it to be with us in this moment, to clearly communicate to all of us, and in particular through me as a channel, to relay divine insight, divine wisdom that supports us in our collective human ascension of consciousness, of behavior, of action, and of the world that we are continually building. Hmm. Take a few more deep breaths. My Wi-Fi seems to be a little spotty, but let me know how the stream is. It should be okay, but hopefully I won't have to stop and restart. Hmm. And so with that, I welcome in and forth the power and the presence of our beneficial and elevated ancestors in heaven and earth to be with us, each of us individually, to protect us as we come together in the sacred time of communion and council. Please bring balance to our hearts and minds and our spirit. And please also neutralize, cancel, clear, and delete any and all malevolent and harmful energies or beings that are disharmonious to our true soul nature, our spirit at this time. I pray that you are strengthened and amplified in your ability to do so. Please help us and support us in keeping our minds and hearts open to the possibilities of building the future. In fact, not even the possibilities, but the actual truth of the matter and our power, our ability, and the opportunity for intentional engagement with it. I also welcome in and forth the power and the presence of our guardian angels and protectors. To also support this protecting work. And to also please send us your healing energy as well. Our hearts, to our hearts, our minds, and our bodies. And I pray that our guardian angels and protectors are also strengthened and amplified in their ability to do so. And now finally, I welcome in and forth the power and the presence of the archangels of light, specifically Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and Archangel Uriel, as well as the solar Uriel, to provide additional multidimensional and time-space protection for us at this time. And please also send us your healing energy. Heal our souls, repair our souls, heal and open our minds, heal and open our hearts, heal and open our passion and will, heal and open our bodies. Okay, so another quick reminder that I did forget in the announcement is we are having the new moon in Gemini, I believe, happening next week on June 6th, which is, I believe, also a Thursday. So because of that, and you probably heard me mention this before if you've been with me for a while, when we come into that time of the dark days of the moon, it's a great time to engage with any clearing practices that you may have, as well as protection practices during this time, both for your space, the place where you live, as well as yourself, your own body, your own energy field. So definitely make use of that if you can over the weekend or next week in the days leading up to the new moon. And yeah, and definitely be mindful of those, what are called the dark days of the moon, which are those like 2 to 3 days leading up to the actual new moon. In particular, you may really want to lean into additional protection. Okay. All right. So, oh, look how much time we're already. This time is just flying by. Okay. It's all good. It really is. Let me get a. One second. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this building the future thing. Because one of the things that I think as human beings, but really as spirits having a human experience, that we have to remember and be mindful of is that ultimately time, our ideas, our perspectives around time are based in linearity, right? Um, rather than past, present, and future being present and happening in this moment now. Um, in that our experience of time is really an experience of the travel, if you will, from one state to another state. And so, however, quote unquote, long or short that feels to us, gives us a sense of how close we are to that state, that vision, that sight, or that knowledge that we are either seeking if it's in the future, or um, that we've already experienced, which is in the past, right? So the further and further we get from a particular state or way of being, we call the past. And in a lot of ways, it's a experience of beingness, a perspective that has uh, fallen into disuse or lack of use. Probably is a better word, better phrasing. And in that which we are moving towards is more of the a new desired or new created um, perspective, state of being, physical manifestation, what have you. So we are constantly going in between this flux of um, constructing and working with all that's available to us in the present to make something new, whether it's, again, a mindset, a belief system, emotional state, or physical material, physical, you know, item. Um, while we're also simultaneously letting go and releasing and deconstructing, dismantling what has been created to free up that energy, free up those resources to be able to create the new thing. So I'm being given the visual right now of um, the trains in the early days, because trains, most modern trains right now don't run on coal. In the past, yes, but currently I think they're all electric or mostly electric. Some places might still be, that, um, but even if whether it was coal or even wood, but regardless, something would be put into the fire, which is essentially ever burning, representing the present moment. But the things being put in are that which is also in the moment that is available to be used to create something. And the output from that is energy to propel the train forward. Um, and so that propelling forward is the forward energy, the desired experience. And then what is left out of the fire, or the consequence of the using of the energy, is the ash or whatever's left after coal is burned, right? So with that in mind, excuse me, when we talk about building the future, I think that mindset in particular is important to reinforce, because what it does is it helps to counteract or potentially neutralize a belief that is um, insidious and subconscious and maybe unconscious of that which we are wanting to create, whether that's at a personal level, at a familial level, at a local level, societal level, global level, is beyond our reach, whether personally or collectively. That it's for another generation down the road. Now, yes, in some wisdom, depending on what the thing is that we're trying to create, and how many are actually in agreement in with that creation, the distance, time, to get to that desired state may take longer, but it's not that it necessarily has to. It really is more so just a function of, when we talk about bigger collective visions, how many people are joining in and using the available resources to build the new thing, um, as well as those who are dismantling the old systems to free up those resources that can be used to build the new thing. Like it's all of it. Um, so the span of our experience of time and the speed at which or not we can achieve our desires are very much affected by um, the proximity to us as an individual in that thing and what we have the capability to control or influence as it relates to those resources that we are using. So if it's a personal goal or objective, we have a lot more control and agency of those things because we are in control of ourselves to the best of our ability of what's available to us, right? And we can make use of the available resources around us, depending on where we are, to do that. And so we can, our experience of building the future or manifesting our dreams, desires, etc., feels faster because there's less input into that creation process. It's just us and what we have available to us. Then when we start branching out from that and get into the more initial kind of relational creating, which would be, friendship creating, romantic partner creating, family creating, things like that, and experiences that y'all are choosing to have, that you want to build, etc. Now it is you and at least one other person, depending on the context, who are actively using the resources available to create the thing. And your ability or your experience of time, i.e., the distance between you and that thing that y'all desire, is going to correlate to your agreement and your shared work and your shared use of resources and your shared agency, your shared action, right? Now, of course, when we go beyond that and we start working with small groups and bigger groups and bigger groups and bigger groups, you see the challenge arises of getting, everyone on the same page of the desire, and maybe like smaller groups and clusters of folks making use of certain particular resources to create that desired experience or to have that desired thing, right? This message is important right now when we come to the collective because one of the things that happens inevitably, and it's okay, it's human and it's natural, is we may begin to lose hope, we may begin to feel off center, we may begin to wonder if how we show up, what we do, etc., if it makes if we're different, if it makes a difference, if it is actually having an impact, if it is actually building for something better. And the answer is yes. What we are looking for, because naturally, not only as human beings, but also as spirit, um, we are collective in nature, we are relational in nature. And so when we are feeling like we are alone, if we are starting to feel like we are discouraged, we first has to get honest about the truth of who we are, okay? Because once we start forgetting that we are spirit first, that we are literally a piece of God, a fractal of God, if you will, a child of God, then we'll start thinking that we have to find who we are and our power outside of ourselves. So that already, throws us off. So we have to get clear and reorient ourselves to truth, to reality. And then secondarily, we have to remember that um, what helps us, especially emotionally and mentally, is being reminded um, of others, seeing others, engaging with others who are also doing similar work, and remembering and using that engagement, using that those experiences as a way to reinforce to us that we are not alone. That the bigger work there are just so much more people involved, and there are so many more um, pieces that go into this bigger world that's being built. That, to be honest, if we really were tracking like every single thing, it would be too much. We would actually get overwhelmed. Yeah. Hello to everyone. Welcome. Right now, we're just in channel mode. I'm not even getting into the cards yet, but we'll get there. Um, so we have to reclaim our hope. We have to. Just as we reclaim our soul sovereignty, our soul power, we have to reclaim our hope. But we need to strengthen it because hope is a flame. It's a fire. We need to strengthen it so that that hope turns into faith. So it becomes a fixed fire. It's a fire that does not burn out. Hello, hello, welcome. Um, yeah, right on time. Right on time. Um, we have to reclaim and care for and protect that inner light of hope so that it can build and grow and become fixed fire, i.e., faith. Okay. So, hope you can think of as the Ace of Wands, or really the Aries energy. And the fixed fire, the faith energy, would be Leo uh, in the zodiac. Now, right now, currently, obviously, we are in the North Node in Aries. So, this thing about hope, about the possibilities of creation and creativity and what's possible in the vision, it is there, even in the midst of the apparent harshness of Saturn and Pisces. It is still there and it is still pervasive. And so, one of the things that we have to be mindful of right now, too, is that when there is a lot of transition and transformation occurring, um, our job is, after we essentially put in some systems in place to handle those things and provide some stability, our job is to shift and focus on being in the creative space because life is not just all destruction. Life is not all just death. Life is not just all release. Life is all just not rest and recovery, right? The creative energy is also not the extreme of burning oneself out. It is a life affirming and regenerative power. But all these components of creation, building something that has the ability and capability to be stable over time and to grow, as well as the discernment and the wisdom to clear and release and all of that is still all important. But we must keep our eye on the prize, and that is what will help us move through this challenging experience much faster. So the intention for this Oracle Talks and potentially the next couple ones, we'll see how things go with Spirit, um, is to focus our attention on the future that we're building and how we do that, what that looks like, etc. One second. So I was checking in to see if we need to talk about what the vision of the future is or what it is exactly and what it looks like. And I got told very clearly it's like the vision never changed. The future never changed. Um, so part of this is you might have to go back and reclaim the vision, reclaim the idea and the ideas of what is possible and what you are trying to build. Again, through all levels, not just the collective and not just the individual, but both and everything in between. And understanding that all of it is actually interconnected, right? Okay, so any questions before we begin then? Mm, there's still some more coming that's trying to come out. One second. What else is there? So again, this thing about time, when I say building the future, it is a now thing. And our experience of it being future is really just an indication of the distance between the physical experience of that and our spiritual experience of it, as well as how many people are involved in making that vision possible, that dream or that desire possible. When it's just us, that future is not so far because we, again, make use of the available resources in the now to make the thing. So it feels relatively fast because the distance is short. It's a time space experience, yeah? But when there's more and more people involved who have a shared vision, who have a shared dream and goal, it takes longer. Everybody has access to different resources, dealing with different things. The pacing, quote unquote, is going to seem longer compared to the individual experience because it's not just, a personal desire, it is a collective one. Okay, so when feelings of frustration come up, because frustration is going to come up when we talk about collective goals for a future desire or experience. Um, Again, please understand and know that just because you may have a frustration with um, the folks that you know who are doing similar or the same work towards building that future does not mean that you know all. And so, even if there's a flux within your own group or subgroup or what have you, as it relates to that, does not mean that all the other groups who are doing similar work are also in flux necessarily, right? Um, Again, your job is to keep faith steady. So, okay, thank you, Spirit. So, what I'll pose then for the folks who are here watching, if you have time to engage, if not, I'll just check in with Spirit. Um, do we want to have a conversation today or receive support and spiritual guidance around faith itself, building that up, strengthening it, the nature of it, et cetera, et cetera? Um, or what was the other? Or I guess talk about the collective. Because all of this is like such a big topic. I wasn't actually expecting for like all of this to come up. um, so all of it will be addressed. You know, the order that it happens is actually relevant. So in no way, shape, or form am I going to rush through this. I think we definitely will be having this conversation in the next couple of weeks in varying degrees and forms. Um, but yeah, what's there now? And take a second to check in, breathe, get some. Let me know in the comments. Maybe 1 more minute. And then if not, I'll check in with spirit. So we have the faith aspect. Fire feels strong. Yeah, that feels. I mean, it feels strong for me too, which is why I was having difficulty remembering what the second thing was. Um, I think because in order to have a well, deeper or useful, implementable discussion about um, what building looks like practically. Um, this part actually has to get addressed first. because you can't actually feel engaged in power. But okay, so we'll go with that. Thank you for that feedback. Cool. So let's talk about faith. I'm actually having a deja vu moment all of a sudden. Faith has come up before in Oracle Talks, but it's been a while. It's been a few years. Was I talking about faith back in 2020? I can't remember. So we're going to start broad first. Or stay a little bit broad first and then drill down a bit. So we have that differentiation between hope and faith. Faith is built from hope. Okay, 8 of Wands first. Knight of Pentacles, the Sun, 2 of Wands. So we have a hidden 10 of Wands. Get one last card. Ace of Swords. We have 3 of Swords on the bottom. I don't know what is up with my Wi-Fi. I can tell it's like being weird, but hopefully everything is okay. I may have to like restart later, but let's see. Okay. Okay, so this 8 of Wands is feeling like what the power of faith feels like. It's very strong. It's very intense. Very, very, very powerful. Faith is powerful. And it's powerful because the root of it, this Ace of Swords, is representative of what hope is. Hope is clear. And it's aligned with source and spirit. It is unwavering, undivided unto itself. So for us, our to do, if you will, our actions, or how we need to be showing up as it relates to this, to building or working with, this faith energy, is the Knight of Pentacles. One of the things that's coming out of here that I don't normally focus on is the amount of shields that this knight has. So he has a shield that he's holding that covers the heart. So there's protection over the heart, specifically over hope. So it's not necessarily like the emotional body specifically, but I'm getting hope. This is protection for the hope within. So that is actively used and engaged with, right? And there's another shield on the side. And that's more so covering the lower body, which is representing, I'm picking up right now, our will. And that's that fixed energy. So it's a combination of hope and will that creates faith. So If we feel like we have lost hope or we need to reclaim our hope, then that's an indication that we actually need to do more to protect our hope because it's there. If you feel like your hope has actually been snuffed out, then you do really just have to go on that journey of um, giving yourself a source, because source needs to breathe that back into you, not the outside world. You're not going to find liberation. You're not going to find whatever it is that you think you are seeking from the created space. It must come from that which actually has created everything, the creator itself. So, again, for those who have lost hope, your liberation is there. Now, for everybody else where hope is dim, or you feel that it's shaky, your job is actually to protect the hope. Now, if the hope is clear, but you don't feel like your faith is strong, then you need to protect your will. When we talk about protecting and defending, it's about uh, neutralizing. I won't say shutting out because that gives a connotation of running away from, and the knight is actively engaging with life, right? So it's not a shutting out, but it is a shutting down of foolishness. Basically, that which is disharmonious with your soul purpose and why you're here, what you're about, your values, your morals, and ethics. Which means you don't need to be doom scrolling. There's a difference between being informed and letting down these shields, which is essentially putting your faith at risk and your purpose at risk. That's what you have full control over. And also, please understand, especially in particular when we're talking about collective building of the future, your emotions are the place, in addition to, our bodies and our spirit. But in particular, your emotions are a place where a lot of spiritual warfare can happen because that's a fuel source for the dark. So your emotions, just like your hope, are precious. That is for you and your intimate relations, intimate regardless of the form, platonic, romantic, etc., that which is close to you. But it is not a currency for the outside world and the spiritual warfare and the mess that's happening out there. That has to be protected. Okay. But these two things, defending the hope and defending your will, what leads you on that integrative path to building a strong faith. And the consistent and persistent action as it relates to, those activities and your soul purpose build stronger and stronger faith. So again, when you feel wobbly, when you start getting discouraged, it's pretty much 99.9% of the time because the focus has shifted so much external that you've forgotten who and whose you are. The source is very clear here with the sun that we are its children. We are whole, we are safe, we are loved, we are protected in our spirit, regardless of what our souls, our bodies may experience in the physical. We are imbued with this incredible power. And we have the ability and the capability to co-create, because this is also a co-creative thing. We have the ability to co-create um, something better. I like that. I'll write that down real quick. I've actually never had that come through that way. So hope plus will equals faith. And we need to defend both. And we do that by defending and also shutting down um, as best as possible outside influence on our soul truth. All right. Welcome to folks coming in. Please say hello. Let us know where you're joining from. All right. So the outcome is 2 of Wands. So this is actually a card of power. Yeah. It's power and agency. And it is a fixed, this is the fixed fire, even though on the card it shows, 2 of, or shows Mars and Aries. But it's coming through because there's actually 6 wands on the card. That's actually a Leo energy when it comes to the tarot specifically. All right. So that's what's embodied there, in golden there. Let me know if this is helping. This is clarifying things. I'm trying to see which spread should be next because I'm doing different spreads right now. Spread. Any questions? We'll talk a little bit more about this on a collective level. So I think this next one is supposed to be is this the collective of, or they might need to work on this. I'm gonna rename this potentially rename this Oracle Talks something else, or I just might call this part 1. Building the future. Let's see. Okay. 9 of Cups. King of Swords. Eight of Wands and 3 of Cups. And in the center, the Star. Okay, so this Three of Cups is representing the hope aspect. So it is clear, it is strong. So again, defending that for the most part. And this is going to be for folks who, well, it's going to be for folks who are watching this live. For folks who are going to be watching the recording or anyone else, you'll have to do your own check-in. But for those who are here in this experience live, this is the state of hope within you. Three of Cups, beautiful. Communication is open, it's flowing, it's healthy, it's strong. So continue to do that work of defending it so that it remains that way during this time. The King of Swords is representing our will. Okay. So the kings are fixed energy. So this is really nice and healthy. This is Aquarius, which I like. So that also is very strong. I'm being also told to look at the fact that this is a 3 and a 4 energy. So this is the yin or the quote unquote feminine energy. And then this is a 4 energy for the king. So that's more the yang. So that is nice and balanced as well. Like that. So faith is strong then, because we have star here in the center. And thank you. This is what it means. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like when we tap into this hope and will and faith energy of being a light worker. That's what the star is representing. It is pouring energy into, it is working with the resources available to help co-create that in the world. Co-create, build the future, both individually as well as collectively and everything in between. Right? So again, when we start to feel off with that, it's usually because one or both of these components of our faith, our hope, or our will is not being defended against from the external. Meaning we're taking on other people's thoughts, emotions, feelings, perspectives, belief systems about how things are. We are here, light workers are here, chose to be here because we do think a new world is possible. We actually have already seen it. We are here to help build it. So this is natural to us. Hope is natural to us. Taking action towards this vision, this dream, this goal for ourselves and others is natural to us. A strong will to do so is natural to us. You know, having self-doubt, second guessing ourselves, postponing, procrastinating, seeking validation from external sources, et cetera, is an indication that we are performing or behaving like others around us who are not here specifically with this on their hearts and minds and sole purpose intention. This does not make us better. It's just saying, because again, this essence is also inherent and available to all. But for those of us who know we know the truth of our collective soul being and are here with this intention in varying degrees, we know we've accepted it. We woke up at like this, right? But when we again start forgetting that, it is because we are performing, accommodating, adapting to what others are doing. We're not shutting that down. We're not defending against it because that is there to pull us off back. It is malevolent in nature, even if it's not individually intentional per se. But collectively, it is malevolent in nature. Um, the trying to take the defenses down or get us to not keep defenses up, rather. Both. Both at the same time. Okay, so in terms of which is which, the creating or the release. Okay, so the Eight of Wands is representing the release. That is actually happening quite quickly. So if you are focused on all the things that are leaving, all the things that are not working, all the things that are not in soul alignment, this can seem discouraging. This can shake your faith because you're looking at this as the sole indication of what's going on. So we can't, we want this to be healthy and strong because it reduces drag. What I mean by that, it reduces, this is another word for that. You know, like how on a car, if you put a spoiler on, you are able to go faster and feel faster because it shifts the aerodynamics of the car. That's kind of what this Eight of Wands is doing, is it's acting as a spoiler of our car being the chariot, right? In the tarot. So it is actually helping us to move faster, but because we're like, look at all the things that are being left in its wake, we're just forgetting the fact that we're actually moving so fast. So the creation aspect, what we are actively, pulling resources together and crafting and creating is a Nine of Cups. So this is really nice. On one hand, but it also depends on how we are engaging with it because this card can be a catch-22. Now it can speak to being really clear about what it is that brings you pleasure and prioritizing being in your flow, et cetera, et cetera. But it also, on the negative side, because it is Jupiter in Pisces, it can talk about being indulgent, being lazy, essentially not bringing fire to the water or movement to the water. It's more of a like lazy river vibe versus like, a steady river. Doesn't necessarily have to even be like raging river. It just can be a regular river, right? So it is an 8 and a 9. The 9 being again that 3 energy, that creative energy, the yin, or the quote unquote feminine, the 8 being that 4 energy or the yang or the quote unquote masculine. But don't settle into destruction and think that that's all that there is. The purpose is to be building. And that is the essence of the faith as well, because as you see here with the star card, the individual is pouring in their own energy. And that is being the environment, People, places, and things is pouring in its own energy to create this river, this flow here, right? But we have to pour. Um, okay, so this is also speaking to, in particular, especially for light workers, because I'm getting this for y'all, for us. Um, we have to always remain proactive, regardless of the type of light worker we are. You know, I talk about the types of light workers in my light worker incubator, currently enrolling now. Information below. But you know, we have wave showers, sustainers, and transformers. So they all have the different functions. Um, but please understand that the proactivity, if you will, um, is not a way shower specific thing. It's for all types. So being proactive, going on the offensive, if you will, rather than simply being reactionary, is the message also with this 9 of Cups. It is a card of agency. The building of the future is not something that happens to us. Ah, my screen slowed down. Oh. What's happening? It's looking slow. Sorry if I'm breaking up or stream is looking weird. I'm sure what's going on, but it's not time for Mercury retrograde yet, so I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Okay. So it is a call out for all of us, myself included. It's a call out for all of us that, regardless of whether it is, again, at a personal level or a collective level or anything in between. Oh, am I still here? It's getting a little weird. Okay, hopefully I'm still here. That probably means I need to wrap up for a while. We, whether it's personal or the collective or anything in between, as light workers in particular, and also fundamentally for anyone who's looking to build the future, purposefully, consciously, we don't need to wait until something external happens before we go after what it is that we want or what it is that we're trying to build. Again, regardless of whether that's individually, collectively, or anything in between. However we are performing our light worker functions, however we are wanting to create whatever we want to create in our life, however we are wanting to influence the greater collective, our local communities, etc. We do not have to wait for permission. We give ourselves permission by taking the agency and listening to our spirit, listening to source. Rather than waiting to react to something. We already know what's up. It's pretty much always the same stuff. Nothing has actually changed. It's just variations on a theme. So you don't have to wait to be proactive. Be proactive now. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so we'll get a card for closing guidance. I believe that is it, but I do want to make sure I check in and see if there are any questions or anything else that people want or need at this time. And then I will just go ahead and bounce because I don't want to push it with the screen since Wi-Fi is getting weird right now. All right, no questions. We good? Look at closing guidance. Let me know if this helps. There needs to be more. Okay, so bottom of the deck we have Eight of Swords. I'm laughing because the two cards that came out, the Devil and the King of Swords. So our will needs to be strong. Again, that is an important component to building a strong and maintaining a strong faith. But that really is the thing that we have to be mindful of. To recap from what I had said before, the Eight of Swords. Okay, this is actually external circumstances. Normally, I don't necessarily correlate that to it, but it is external. So this is external interference, which is affirming the importance of proactivity. And this isn't a thing of like, you have to go out there guns blazing, so to speak, but that which is for you to do, for us to do, is already clear. So we just do those things and don't let the noise prevent us from doing so, because that noise actually is the devil energy. It is there to distract, divert, disillusion from doing that work. And we need to be able to see that clearly. We need to be able to recognize that interference for what it is clearly and face it and address it. Because I mean, literally the King of Swords is looking directly at the devil. You know what the devil is. You have the tools at your disposal. And the devil is, again, at all scales. So personal, whether it's internal, personal, also external, the collective, and everything in between. This is for everything. The devil is present. But with that being said, we have a variety of tools and a steady, spiritual team to help and support. With the tools in his hands, the chair he's on, we have the support. This actually right now is giving me source energy. So not only is this protection, but this is direct communication. Right above the head, yeah. So we know what's up, we can see what's up, we need to address it. And we need to not allow ourselves to be ensnared by that energy. And if you feel like you need some additional tools, remember that you have a lot of metaphysical tools at your available. Like to go back and reuse some ones that you might have fallen out of practice with. Just because something again is in the past, we let it fall into disuse or lack of use. Doesn't necessarily mean that it does not have value. It might not still be important. So go back and lean on because none of this is feeling like new stuff. Again, you already have the tools available and they are effective. They are effective. Okay, so the energy externally is not so pleasant. Oh, I just forgot. I forgot that this Eight of Swords is also Jupiter in Gemini. So this is particularly important for this Gemini season and potentially for being incredibly mindful of during this transit. I did do just the past weekend a Jupiter and Gemini channeling for all 12 zodiac signs in Covenant. So if you would like to check that out, I invite you to become a member of Covenant. Info is below. It should be. If not, I'll put it in the description after the recording is up. So yeah, that is there. It was really, really important messages for all 12 signs that came through. But we're not out of the woods of this karmic cycle closing with Saturn and Pisces. I'll be writing about that a bit in the upcoming newsletter. So if you're not on my newsletter, you can go to my website, go to the homepage and scroll down, and you'll see the form to sign up there. If I remember, I'll put it in the description as well, the sign up form for the newsletter. But I'll be touching on it a bit in that newsletter. But yeah, this Saturn in Pisces is a big deal because it is actually like a literal like karmic cycle ending and beginning. Because next we'll have Saturn going into Aries in 2026 and Neptune going into Aries next. But yeah, the Saturn energy is really the thing because it has to deal with our karma, basically our incarnational cycles, and karmic law and things like that. So there's a lot of release in a lot of different contexts, but also a lot that's being created in the midst as well. But we can't allow this devil energy, this opportunistic, malevolent energy to take us off, put us in a reactionary space because we're not ever off our path, but put us in a reactionary space when we need to be in that Nine of Cups, actively, proactively creating the future we want to build. All right, y'all. Okay, so that is, I believe, going to be it. Any last things before I bounce? Let me know in the comments. Questions about anything? Let me know. And I believe, I guess for next week, next week may just be a new moon and Gemini message. I think this message might need to sit and be interpreted and work with a little bit before we dive back in again. We'll see what Spirit says next week. So like I mentioned at the beginning, for the foreseeable future, we'll be back to Oracle Talks on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So God willing, you know, because tomorrow's not promised, but God willing, we'll see me next next Thursday at 10 a.m. And yeah, it's feeling like it's going to be a new one in Gemini message. Because I think, yeah, people need to sit with this message for a while. So please do subscribe to the channel, and please do like the video, and please do share the video, because you know, there's so much happening right now, and always has been, to be honest, in the world. But you know, there are points in time when it reaches a fever pitch, and people's hope and faith may really be struggling right now. So this video truly is to be in service to that, to speak to that issue, and to remind people who they are and whose they are, of their power, of their agency, and that they matter, regardless of what it is that they are doing at a personal level or a collective level. Like, again, from our perspective, it seems like we individually are insignificant in what we do within our own lives, how we are shifting and healing ourselves, and you know, all the things doesn't matter, but it actually does. It actually really does. And my perspective is, if there's nothing else you do, we honor, respect, reclaim yourself. Like, that actually will change the world overnight if everybody was able to do so. So if you have the privilege to do so, please do it. All right, my light workers. So again, enrollment is currently open for the next cohort of the Lightworker Incubator. You can learn more and apply at my website, andersonalchemy.com. That info is in the description box below. Most of the program details are there. When you fill out the application, we will chat, we'll jump on a Zoom call and connect. I'll answer any questions that you may have, and also just connect with you, because obviously we'll be spending 6 months together. And that will be the case whether you are new to the program or if you are an alumni that wants to circle back and kind of get a refresher. I've been meeting with everyone and did the same thing with the winter cohort. It was great to connect with folks new and old. So yeah, that is there. Enrollment is open only through June 19th. So there's still a few weeks out to just open enrollment. But please don't wait till last minute. There's always folks who do, but please don't wait till last minute. And yeah, and then the new offerings or the new schedule for Covenant is up. I just put that on the community tab, so you can check out that post there for what is dropping in the space. And yeah, that should be it in terms of announcements. All right. So love you all. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay loved and protected. Defend your hope, defend your will, keep your faith strong. And like I said, God willing, I will see you next week, Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Click the notification bell so you get notified when I do go live. All right. Love you much, y'all. Bye.